Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by the channel. As being a private investigator since 1994, I wanted to address something that I get a lot of calls about, and that is getting people's cell phone records, getting their text messages, WhatsApp, Facebook messages, hacking into their Instagram, etc., etc. There's a big misconception out in the world that private investigators have access to that type of stuff, and the fact of the matter is we flat out don't. Now, I would say back in the mid-90s when cell phones started getting real popular, there was ways to get people's call logs or some of the numbers that they were calling. I'm not saying that I ever did this because it wouldn't have been legal to do it, but had I done it back then, this is how I would have gone about it. I would have had the person's name, I would have had their date of birth, their address, and their social security number. And I would have called the cell phone company, and I would have told them something along the lines that I'm traveling, don't have access to my bill or my phone or anything. It's an imperative that I get in touch with somebody that I had called last week. Is there any way that you could look up my account and give me the most 5 to 7, 8 most frequently called numbers? And back then, they would have verified you with the information that I would have already had, and they would have given me that bit of information. And I would have written down the phone numbers, and then I would have used some of the tools that I had to crisscross those numbers and come up with a name and an address of who those numbers belong to. Let's just say my client was a gal and thought her husband was cheating on her. I'd go through those numbers and I'd find the women, and I'd call the client and say, do you know this? Do you know this person? Do you know this person? And they would say, well, I have no idea who this gal is. And, well, he's called her 20 times in the last week. And there you go. You figured out who it is that her husband was potentially having an affair with. Again, not saying I did that, but that's how it would have been done back in the day. In this day and age, there is no way you are doing anything like that. There are so many safeguards in play now. I know when I call my service provider and ask a question about my phone, they send you a text message and you have to verify that code, and they all work that way. So that was a way that they shut down anybody getting that type of stuff. But when there is a need for something, there is always going to be the scammers that come to the surface that will figure out a way to monetize that need. And that's where we are now and have been for quite a while. I've seen these companies advertising on the search about they can get people's phone records and such, and they're actually even paying for these ads. So they must be making money, otherwise they wouldn't be paying for these ads. This morning I did a couple searches and just pulled up a few, and I've taken some notes here that I'm going to go over with you and just talk to you a little bit about this to really try to drill home that don't fall for this shenanigans, because it's crap. So the first one that I came up with, it says, just type in a phone number and we'll give you their messages, who they're calling, who they've been texting, the whole deal. You'll be able to pull pictures off of their phone. Basically, what they're saying is they're going to clone this phone. I'm sure that's a term everybody's heard of. And they're going to give you a carbon copy of this phone. That is nonsense. There's no way that's happening. These sites are really good, though. They're very professional. I got to hand it to them. They've done a great job. They have things on there as seen on CNN and Fox News and all the big players to kind of lend some credibility. And but they're not being regulated. A lot of these sites are based offshore. There's really no way for the U.S. to regulate them, so they can pretty much put anything they want on these sites, and there's not a whole lot that can really be done about it. This first one that I went to, it was interesting. I got to hand it to them. They're good. So I type in, and all of a sudden it starts. This circle starts spinning, and it's saying we're accessing millions of records right before your eyes, and it pops up things. First off, I had to verify my age because of the potential graphic content that was going to be seen, and it says this: warning, may reveal graphic content. I wrote all this stuff down. Potentially humiliating photos. We found sensitive data on this number. Could change your relationship forever. This shocking info could contain photos of the person they're cheating on you with. Do not use this powerful tool to stalk them. And it just goes on and on. They have reviews on here. I busted my cheating wife with her boss using this app. It's just a bunch of nonsense. And what they'll do is they'll start out with like one of them was a couple of dollars. One of them was $1. Interesting thing that I found after doing some searches is there's a bunch of different URLs, domain names, but they all kind of circle back to the same company. I can see the way that these companies are working, how the whole website works. It's very clear that it's the same company. They just made a couple of changes. And one of them was, this was interesting, you start off with just paying $1. If you're using a prepaid credit card, they're going to go ahead and charge you $35 for some reason. So they give you this starter deal, $1. It gives you 3 days of access, and then it automatically renews at $68.22 a month. And they're giving you 3 days of access of a bunch of nonsense. What's going to happen is they're going to come back and they're just going to give you some excuse as to why they weren't able to get the information, because it's not possible to get the information. I went ahead and I signed up. I didn't put in my card numbers. No way I'm giving these people my credit card. But I did sign up with a username and password, and then I contacted the company to see what the process would be to cancel it. And none to my surprise, you sit on hold for 20 minutes. Somebody comes on, they ask you a few bits of information, which the email address that you used to sign up, and they put you on hold. I'll be back in a minute. And oh, shocker, our system's not working right now. Can you call back at another time, or you can email us off the website? I know darn good and well what's going to happen if you email them off the website. You're never going to hear anything back from them. So just please don't fall for this stuff. I also looked up a couple of laws, and just to make sure that we have the right terminology. Electronic Communications Privacy Act, that can be a felony by breaking into people's cell phones. The Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, again, another felony. So these companies are basically saying they're going to commit felonies for you. That it's just not happening. People call me and I tell them this stuff, and I can just tell in their voice, they're like, well, I don't believe you. I think it can be done because I read it on the internet, or my sister's husband's cousins, Uber drivers, waiter at the local restaurant said they did it. And they just don't want to believe me, but I'm telling you it's true. And this is going to be the same deal with getting into Facebook, hacking messages, and all that kind of stuff. Something to think about here for a second, too, is a company like Facebook or Verizon or Sprint or whoever it's going to be, WhatsApp, any of these major companies, keep in mind, they're not using the local high school for their security. They've got the best in the world, and you are just not going to be able to hack into this type of stuff. I found one company that actually advertised hacking services. Tell us what you want, we'll connect you with a hacker, and we'll hack into somebody's Facebook account. That is nonsense. So just please don't fall for this type of stuff. It's really getting widespread. There's websites that are all over. I see them pop up, and then I think what happens is the search engines catch them and they kick them off, but then they just pop up with another domain. It's a duplicate site with a new username or password. Some of these companies you may have heard of, and they're because they sound legit, and again they look legit, but they are not. You're going to sign up. You're going to do your $1 or your $3 or whatever it is that they're asking, and you're going to give them a credit card, and then you are going to play heck trying to get that canceled. They're just going to run you around, and they're going to charge you a couple $100, and then you've got to go through the whole process of trying to dispute it, but you've signed their agreements. Chances are you're not going to be able to get out of it. So just be real careful. As always, there's a right way, there's a wrong way to do stuff. This is 100% the wrong way. So, hey, thanks for watching. Hope I've been able to help. If you're in a situation where you're trying to figure out what somebody's doing and you think their records might be of some assistance to you, they definitely will. But I'm afraid you're just not going to be able to get them. Hey, once again, thanks for watching.